Hey buddies, it's your Ninja Thunder Z96 and today I will be doing a trade demand tier list after hearing a suggestion made by Zephyr. Before I start, for those who want to learn more about trade values and demand, remember to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell for more tutorials, tips and giveaway events on Loomian Legacy. Also, a disclaimer to you guys, these trade demand tier list will be changing over time, especially after a major update or an event update on Loomian Legacy. Also, all these trade demands are based on observations on Trade Resort, Loomian Legacy Discord servers, PvP tier list, YouTubers' recommendations and word of mouth. As such, I might be doing an update of each tier list after major updates only. And for this to happen, make sure to get this video to 70 likes alright. In this video, I will be covering normal Loomians trade demand tier list which includes PvP Loomians and SA PvP Loomians. If there's enough time, I will also be covering Wild Loomians trade demand tier list. Note, I will be including event Loomians in this tier list alright. By knowing this tier list, it is easier for you to trade off certain baby and adult PvP for a better profit. Hence, it is important to take note each reasonings alright. Random shoutout to Blackburs190 and Newbie123_00 for finding me in servers. Awakening Himber is considered one of the overused Loomians due to its ability to set up icicle traps with a fairly decent melee attack and defense stats. As such, till now, many players have been looking for PvP Himber alright. Hence, its demand is considered pretty high. As for Awakening Shark Knight, due to the recent update which allows Shark Knight to learn barbs, Shark Knight has been frequently seen in PvP as well. However, as compared to its SA form, Awakening Shark Knight's demand is deemed as decent. Awakening Tatab's demand is the highest in demand amongst the starters due to a fairly high demand on the side quest in Gym Rats. As such, very brawny PvP Tatab has been heavily demanded within the trading community. PvP-wise, it is rarely seen in Battle Coliseum. Thus, Awakening Tatab's demand is high in general. Awakening Loominami is questionable in demand since its normal ability is fairly decent. Even without its SA ability Quick Recovery, Loominami is able to learn Rejuvenate and thus, allowing Loominami to be an all-rounder Loomian in PvP. However, as YouTubers and experienced PvP players have been recommending SA movesets, Awakening Loominami's demand is considered normal. Awakening Vesperatu has been one of the overused PvP Loomians where both its normal ability and SA ability are usable in battles. However, Vesperatu has a lot of strong counters such as Ticklips and Swolder. As a result, its demand is considered normal. Awakening Zulong is better than its SA ability when it comes to PvP battles. It is also considered one of the most overused Loomians amongst newer PvP players due to its high ranged attack and speed. Hence, its demand is considered fairly decent. Lastly, Fakiri has rose to become one of the most overused Loomians in PvP due to various movesets and roles played by this specific Loomian. However, not all are fond of using Fakiri in the team permanently. As such, its demand is considered decent. In general, both Umbrat and Luxor are underused Loomians that's still underrated despite several buffs and updates. However, its normal ability is not well received. As such, its demand is placed low. On the contrary, Ticklips is overrated in PvP and its normal ability is considered pretty decent. Over time, Ticklips has several counters such as Tyrex which led to a fall in demand to normal instead of decent. For Bug Family, all normal abilities, except for Trash Armor Garbantus, Hard Candy Spreezy and Webbing Swolder are pretty much low in demand. Trash Armor Garbantus's demand has dropped from decent to normal due to several recent counters like Tundrolin and Wintrix. Both Swolder and Spreezy are considered the best in terms of PvP currently. However, in terms of demand, Spreezy is considered normal in demand while Swolder, who hits hard in melee and has a relatively good melee defense, is considered decent in demand. Same goes to Tree Family and Volcano Family where all demands for its normal abilities are considered very low now. Except for expertise Waka Laka where a few are seeking for it, but it is rarely seen in PvP. Alright. Sadly, for the Moo family, both SA and normal abilities demand are the lowest amongst all PvP Loomians due to better and hard-hitting Loomians out there. It is concluded that Moontoon, in any forms like Gamma, Alpha Gleams and SA are underwhelmed in demand. Ranking last place overall. Amongst all Vari evolution, Benelin, Resolin and Tundrolin are overrated in PvP. In terms of normal abilities, Devious Benelin has a decent demand. On the other hand, normal abilities Resolin and Tundrolin are normal in demand. As for the underrated Vari evolutions such as Buzzolin, Zepholin, Carolin, Servolin and Wendolin, all of their demands are relatively low. Alright. Currently, Ambush Joltooth's demand is decent amongst the rest of the fossil Loomians. Pyro Infernix is considered normal in demand as its secret ability is way better than its normal ability. As for the rest of the fossil Loomians, they are classified under low demand. Under Robo family, Terrifying Tyrex is one of the most overpowered Loomians and its demand is still very high till today. Rev Up or Terrifying Samarine, which is one of the newer Loomians, is receiving decent demands, especially its Gleam form. As for the rest, their demands are very low. Alright. Sadly for aquatic families, only Garlash, who is one of the most overused Loomians in PvP, is considered normal in demand only. Kanibo, which is one of the newer released Loomians, is not well received and considered as normal in demand. As for the rest, they are low in demand. Normal ability Nevermare, Metronet, Protogon and Cephalops are relatively high in demand. Especially Cephalops where it is considered as a broken Loomian, many PvP players have been using it in PvP battles often. Wobelisk, Nimore and Mutagon are fairly decent in demand. Previously, PvP Wobelisk was considered bad in demand. However, over time, Wobelisk has gotten new rallying moves such as Luster Loot which made it possible for PvP players to create concrete movesets for Wobelisk. As such, Wobelisk demand is considered decent. Normal ability Elephage, Ocalos and Duskit are deemed as the worst roamings in PvP. As such, not many players are seeking for it and thus, it's considered as low in demand. Normal abilities in bear families are considered high in demand due to its decent power and defense. Both of which are also considered overpowered Loomians. Chill ability Wintrix and glided ability Whippledrift have been receiving a lot of demands lately. Since Wintrix is not obtainable in-game yet till Jolly Village has arrived, its supply is lower than its demand. As such, we can assume here that Wintrix's demand is high. Whippledrift on the other hand, has received several buffs and add-on rally moves which thus, led to a decent demand right now. As for normal ability Harvesect and Oxydrake, their demand is very low right now since for Oxydrake, its SA ability is way better than its normal ability. On the other hand, Harvesect's normal and SA ability are equally bad compared to other Loomians. Hence, rarely players are using them alright. For Cosmiore forms, only Unleashed which is deemed as one of the overpowered Loomians, received a fairly decent amount of demand. Encased and cracked forms which are often underrated, are considered low in demand. Sadly, for Hoganosh and Mocho, who have a common factor of being a mono-type, received a normal to poor demand due to lack of coverage. Bunary and Isagul are also considered normal in demand. Reason-wise for Bunary is mainly due to the ease of access to obtaining one at the arcade. Hence, not many players are seeking for one. Ferroglyphs are more commonly used as compared to Bane of Haste Pyramid in PvP. Also, Ferroglyphs are considered as overused Loomians. Hence, they are naturally decent in demand. Lastly, Lyricate, Gastroke, Abatros, Eruptitan, Ragoon and Mawamerk are low in demand since its SA is much better than its normal ability. On the other hand, Setamars, Gobademic, Shachi, Borok, Eliguana, Snagoop and Obsidrugan are considered high to decent demand. Taoshanu is considered decent in PvP. However, in terms of demand, it is considered normal sadly. After going through several brief factors, I have finalized both PvP and SA PvP trade demand tier list. As for Wild Loomian's trade demand tier list, I will go through it very quickly before I end this video alright. For untouched SA Protogon and SA Elephage, their demand are considered high and might get several overpays due to the ability Replicate, which is able to mimic a Wild Loomian's ability, thus, it is easier for us to identify whether it is SA or not. This is definitely useful and time-saving for those hunters who are on boost alright. Next, Duskets. Different positive pure nature harmonized Duskets have different demand and are greatly dependent on the upcoming updates in Loomian Legacy. For instance, when there's Christmas update last year, the demand for brawny Duskets increased greatly. As such, the value increased from 1 to 5 gammas temporarily. As such, I will classify all pure positive nature Duskets under high to decent and non-pure nature Duskets under decent demand since Duskets aren't soft reset roams. Same goes to non-PvP nature Ikazuns and Protogons. Hunting Loomians that's high in melee attacks such as SA Ragoons, Trumbull, Volcaloa, Joltooth and more are considered decent in demand. On the other hand, hunting Loomians that's low in melee attacks such as Geklo and Crocoloa are considered normal in demand. Note that players are usually seeking for max level or very high level hunting Loomians alright. Lastly, event roams such as Metronet, Nevermare and Wobelisk are of a better demand than Nimore and Oculos due to its PvP ability and better coverage moves in general. Not to mention, Nimore are of a higher in supply since the method of obtaining one is through getting cakes. As for Oculos, it recently ended last year and so, not many players are looking for one yet. That's all I would like to say and I am really sorry if the video is too long. I really tried to cut down on my reasonings but I still felt that some reasonings were a bit too rushed. Do let me know if you want a PvP guide on ideal natures on each Loomians in the comment section down below so that I can do a better in-depth explanation on it. Lastly, don't forget to like and share it to your friends as well. Cheers.